What's up, guys? All right, so I'm going to be breaking down a conversation from open all the way till the meet. Now, this isn't a conversation of my own. This is from a student who has done my 12-week program, right? If you want to know more about how it runs and what's covered, hit me up. But let's just dive straight into it. So he opens with, "Hey," name of the girl, "can I be honest?" And then she's like, "Sure." And then he says, "My face is very jealous of that fire hydrant," right? Because obviously there's a pic of her with a fire hydrant in the profile. This is great, and this is something that I often do. I'll look at their profile for inspiration, right? I'll look at things I can reference, and this is, like if you ever see some type of object that's close to, anywhere sexual around her body, like, you can say that, right? My face is very jealous of X. So he goes with the fire hydrant there. And then she's like, "Ha ha ha, I think you can do better," right? Meaning he can do better than the fire hydrant. And then he's like, "Are you a golfer too? I'm intrigued." So this is another good thing to do over text. It's like building commonality, right? And then she's like, "I am not. I just put random things on there." So obviously there was something in her profile hinting at her liking golf, but apparently she's not. And then he's like, "No, what else is random?" So this is what I call a baiting line, right? And what I mean by that is when you're like, "No, what else is random?" Of course she's going to be like, "What else is random?" Right? This is really good to do starting on because you want to get a girl investing early on in the conversation, right? But at the same time, when you're just asking question after question, it can feel like an interview, right? So using what I call baiting lines like this allows you to get investment from the girl. And it's just really good like that. And it just creates intrigue. Pretty much a baiting line is when you leave out information, when there's kind of like, it's like clickbait, right? It really is. It's like, "No, what else is random?" It's like, it leaves an unanswered question in her mind. It leaves her really curious, like, what else is random, right? That's what baiting is all about. So she's like, "What is that?" "I'm heading to an old town bar with both my grandmas and my mum right now. At least we have a good ratio. Haha, don't corrupt your poor grandmas." And then he's like, "They need," so this is good too, like, "I'm heading out to an old town bar." Like, it's good to just share your lifestyle randomly. Like, do you see how like illogical this fucking conversation is, right? It's just like, "No, what else is random?" Just like out of nowhere, right? What is that? And then, he's just talking about something he's doing, right, in his life that's like pretty random. But he's just creating something out of nothing. And that's what people who have good text game do. And this is a really easy way of doing it too. So he just shares something that he's doing, at least we have a good ratio. He's just finding the humor in it. And then she's like, "Haha, don't corrupt your poor grandmas." And then he's like, "They need sugar daddies. Social security can only get you so far these days." Like, that's pretty fucking funny, right? It's pretty out there to say sugar daddies and like your grandmas in the same fucking context. And then he's like, she's like, "Yeah, that's true." And then he's like, "Between the cheetah print and the cowgirl hat, you have an interesting vibe. There's definitely something more though." So this is what I refer to as a cold read, which, it is really good because, again, it's like, it creates more conversation. She's going to find it intriguing because everyone's kind of like, they love it when you talk about them or when you guess things about them, when you challenge their perception of themselves. And then he's got a baiting line at the end, right? There's definitely something more though. And then, "I don't fit in no box." So she doesn't quite agree with that cold read. So I would say that's like non-compliance, or in other words, right? I know I throw a lot of these terms around, but non-compliance is another word for she's not agreeing, right? And when a girl doesn't agree to what you're putting forward continuously, we kind of backwards rationalize that as not liking you, right? So that's the thing. "I don't fit in no box," and then he's like, "or in no jeans probably." Laughing my ass off that too. So that was a really good fucking line there. Just humor, right? Just making fun of it. So laughed myself that too. And then he's like, "How goes your Saturday?" Pretty typical, right? Not the most interesting thing, but whatever. My Saturday goes well. I'm getting ready for work. What do? I manage a parkour facility. You? Like, so random, right? And then she's like, and then he's like, I own that parkour facility. We appreciate what you've done with the place. This is a really good example again of like, fuck logic, right? It's not that logical. He doesn't actually own a parkour facility, but it doesn't fucking matter, right? It's funny. It shows authority. It's fucking awesome. And then it's like, ha ha ha, no way. There's this cute girl named Managers though. Thought about asking her out. No way, I'll put in a good word for you. Creating a little role play. I like that. And then it's just a typical closing sequence, right? If you've watched my content, you've seen it 1,000 times. Do you like wine? We should have a glass sometime soon. And then shoot me a number and we can set it up. And then bang, on from there. And then he opens by the number. He just opens with his name and a winky face, which is something you can do. And then she's like, hey, also no, I would not poison you, lol. Oh, so they're talking about some stuff before, like, and then he's like, well, that's a relief. So you're moving for me already? That's a big step. So that's good because it's kind of like, think of it this way, it's framing her, or it's positioning her as the one who's chasing him, right? It's like, oh, you're moving already for me, right? And it also shows like, it's a bit cocky, right? It's a bit of cockiness. And a little bit of cockiness is good, right? You don't want to be arrogant, but I think this is just playful and cocky. So it's good like that. And then she's just like, I know, it's what has to happen. So wine tonight? Of course. What's your schedule like? And she's like, busy, lol, I don't work on Fridays or Sundays. So tomorrow evening then, I'd be down. I just have to get my stuff moved to my cousin's. Where would you want to meet? So he doesn't fuck around, right? Straight to the point. I don't work on Fridays or Sundays, so tomorrow evening then, like question mark, right? There's not too much more to it. And that's what you want to be like when you're making plans. You want to be succinct. You don't want to add in all this extra other bullshit. Just like, okay, so tomorrow night, bang. And then she's like, where would you want to meet? The classic, my romantic patio. Not quite yet, I'd be down for a bar. So she's implying that she's not ready to come straight to his house, which is fair enough. And then he's like, stranger danger, not necessarily, just not interested in going to a house the first time. Usually leads to a situation involving, well, there has to be chemistry first. Got to make sure you're not secretly a 300-pound albino man, right? So stealing the frame of whatever she's saying, he's just saying what she's saying back to her in different words, essentially. And then she's like, you caught me. There's a sports park called Oakley's nearby. We could meet there. That could work. 8:30 work. Can I let you know when I'm done tomorrow? When do you expect to be done? Around 7, I think. But that just depends. That's why I don't know if. Okay, keep me posted tomorrow then. Embrace the speed of the cheetah print and you can't go wrong. That's, again, very witty, very random, but it's good. Laugh my ass off. I'll take your advice. And then it's like, good idea. So where are you moving from? Just building up a little bit more. Yeah, he does a really good job of just like creating like wittiness out of nothing, right? Like she's just like the most basic shit. Like, where are you moving from? She's like, I'm moving from Scottsdale. And then, you know, he looks at that and he's like probably thinking like, okay, how can I turn this into something that's flirty, sexual, a tease, you know? And he took it in that direction, like, oh, in trouble with the law again. We talked about this, right? Which is, yeah, fucking beautiful, right? And that's the way you kind of got to think. Like, you hear a certain thing that she says, and then you think, okay, what relates to that, right? So you think of, okay, what relates to a person who's moving to a new city? Well, it's like, what could you make of that? You could say something like, take me in your suitcase. I mean, if they're fucking like traveling or something, or like, you know, like you just think abstractly. Okay, what relates to that? You know, you could think of maybe where she's from, Scottsdale. You could think of like some way of like teasing her, like some type of stereotype that exists. It's like you start thinking in this way, right? But that was perfect. And then she's like, ha ha ha, I'm a good girl. That's cap. Santa already told me you'll be on the naughty list this year. So that's good. As I've talked about before, this is a bit more of an advanced concept, but like commitment and consistency. It's like when someone is like talked about as though they're like a good person or a bad person. Like if someone says they're a good person, you're like, yeah, you're such a good person or whatever. Like they're then way more likely to be consistent with that, right? But if they're like, I'm a bad girl, and then you validate that, well, they're more likely to be consistent with that too. So it's a better frame for her to be bad than it is good, right? Because he's trying to get sexual and that kind of thing. So that's why he rejects the frame of her being good, and he's like, Santa already told me you'll be on the naughty list this year. Not a chance. I'm actually Santa's assistant, and he told me that you have been on the naughty list 3 years in a row and to watch my back. He's just saying that because I took his money on the golf course recently. He and I go way back. Is that so? He told me a completely different story. There's always two sides. Actually three, his side, my side, and the truth. Really good. Like he's just being smarter than her essentially, and just like winning the frame. That's the thing. It's like even in a role play, still like maintaining the power and not being the submissive one, like keeping to his point of view and just staying by it, you know. That's what having a strong frame is about. So, oh, I see. So where is my invite to the party? Could come tomorrow on our romantic date, the most romantic, and then blah, blah, blah. Not usually. Yeah. Maybe we hang out and then go to bed. Like, yeah, I'm down. All right. So it's pretty straightforward from here. Like, they're just setting up like where to go essentially. Typical from there. And then after the date, he's like, just got home, nice meeting you, had a good time. Very typical. It's just like, you're a blast, you know, good stuff. So yeah, that's a really good example of a conversation from open to meet, right? And that's about the length that you'll want to have your conversations, especially when you're talking to, you know, higher value women and shit. I always say that, like, women who are more attractive that have more options, you don't want to like close for the date just like really fucking soon. It's like they want to get an idea of what you're actually like before they agree to a date, because they've got a lot of options, right? A girl who doesn't have as many high value options or doesn't have as high a standard, she might just go for a date straight away, right? She can't be fucked. But the more attractive women, you're going to want to have the longer conversations, right? Which means developing the ability to be able to have witty conversations, you know, to do some of the things he was doing, right? Like he was creating role plays, yeah, and really just creating these like really witty, good texts, just like out of fucking nothing, right? Utilizing a lot of the concepts that I taught him throughout the program, like baiting, open looping, you know, of course, really solid frame control as well. So yeah, really proud of like his progress throughout the program and what he's done, both like via text, like his profile, how many matches he got, and also like on the dates as well. Fucking killed it. But yeah, so if you're interested in upping your texting and just your fucking dating in general, right? Not just the texting. Well then hit me up. I run 12-week programs, no matter where you live, it's all online. And yeah, we'll go from there. Till next time.